So let's continue working with our terrain, and we'll start working on atmosphere. What also I did, I gone to free user define and I set a little bit more widescreen settings for my terrain so we can see kind of better in a way we can more our terrain can preview. Okay, so I'm look also on my camera and we about 100 meters up. We can readjust. Again, reposition, set up and down. We can kind of play a little bit more with this. Okay. Right now we preview this is our terrain. Again, some these ones may be a little bit too high. So let me go ahead, edit object. And what I'm going to do right here, I want just decrease slightly this bump, so it won't be that high. Okay, maybe even smaller. Okay, click OK. And with decrease, it's look better. So let's click OK one more time and preview again. So I want to see the paddles, but I don't want them covered too high when we go on lower. So it's craters look a little bit more interesting this way. Okay, also we can take and just bring waters a pitch up. Okay, so the atmosphere. Let's go ahead and one thing, you remember we worked before on atmosphere. So I'm going to load this atmosphere. And mostly it's very default preset. All what we have is this kind of very interesting clouds. But I'm going to select my sunlight, move it just a little bit behind so I have it harder shadows right on the edge. That will add more depth to our image. Okay, next in atmosphere, we'll go to lighting. We'll set global radiosity. Take our ambient light and a little bit darker and desaturated. And move a little bit more towards ambient light. Okay, next, we do have some settings for our clouds that maybe needed pop up a little bit more density. So a little bit more distinguished kind of on an edge. Okay, let's density and opacity. So we have a kind of nice clouds, maybe actually even higher, so the stretching more look interesting and unusual in this. Okay, and slightly on ambient light. Okay, next, sky and fog. So I want bring sky a little bit higher, but at the same time we need saturation better, so we have a more defined line right on the edge. And right now we have this kind of yellowish color, so let's take our decay and drop down altitude, mean altitude, as well as a percentage of decay. Okay, we have it a little bit haze applied to this. We can take area perspective, leave it glowing right now as default. Let's take color and make it a little bit bluish, kind of dark color right here. Okay, we can click on preview. And this is look a little bit too dark with our fog. So let's readjust again a couple things. Okay, and in many cases, in this case, just you need kind of go ahead and play, readjust, and see which one is kind of work maybe better for for your settings. Okay. Okay, and you know what? Maybe even reset this color as well. Okay, so set, and maybe just a little bit more in a glowing, so we have it kind of interesting lights going on that. Okay, let's take our sun and disable wind for this. Okay, we can try to maybe increase sunlight, but again, more realism coming with using nicer ambient lights. So it's depend. We can increase more on the sun, but for the best effect, we need also now going inside the edit shadows for our sun, for our light, and set as a ray trace it. Okay, let's go ahead and click on preview. Okay, we have it. You can see we have some nice shapes coming. So let me go ahead and stop this one already. Sun, maybe bring even sun lower. Increase shadows and have it kind of more interesting lights glowing on this point. Next, what I want to go inside the water and just take luminosity and pop up luminosity higher. So now this is start producing. Okay, and in some case we kind of set with atmosphere everything. I think it's point to add ecosystem. What I'm going to do, it is edit material. We'll go add additional layer of ecosystem. Also, I'm going to enable highlights. Actually, you know what? Let's set to some brighter color so we can preview. The position. Okay, also we'll go inside the density, and right here we have a decay, so it's kind of won't go underwater. I do want some plants going under, so we need to disable decay. We'll go on a scaling and enable shrink and scale. One thing, it's kind of when we start testing, I want to actually have it larger scale and go from larger to smaller. So when we start populating, we have it kind of preview which will going without creating too many instances and slow down our system. Okay, presence, right here we have it sloped. And you can see when we start creating a slope range, so I want to create more on a flat and less on a peak, so we have a kind of nice effect going through the peaks. Okay, as well, let's have it increase slightly on fastness this way. Right here, okay, we can disable, and let's add some plants. And because this is kind of sci-fi look, what I like to use alien plant, so we'll just add that one. Let's click OK and click populate. So you can see how many instances we have. It will go pop up our density higher. Okay, as well scaling, now we can bring slightly down and populate. Okay, already we have 3 billion polygons. So let's click preview. Okay, the scale may be a little bit smaller for the plants, so we still see some shape of the terrain as well. A couple things about terrain I want to readjust. I want to actually take camera. We can take camera and move our camera. or we can go edit object and just try maybe make a smaller. Okay, right here we'll take our camera and repositioning so we have it interesting look. Okay, let me again edit object, maybe even actually back to our size before where we have it, and just position camera maybe from this so we have it nice kind of looking glowing paddles. So we can look right here and just rotate. Just overall try to find very good angle. For our scenery. Okay, let's go again. Okay, we have it, our density, okay, we have it, no decay. Presence we set almost on the, just create on a straight line. Let's repopulate again, and let's preview. Okay, so we have a kind of nice plants. I like this area, but right here I don't really like this edge. So again, this is one reason why I like to add plants kind of to the last step, because it's take longer time to render with this ecosystem, and I just want to have the shape done a little bit first. So again, we'll reduce scale one more time here, make it smaller. Let's increase this, go to present, again readjust. Okay, let's go to our terrain. Okay, reposition this way. Let's preview. And also I want to take camera and maybe still bring, so we have it right here, this area. It's what I want to bring. The other things we also can do, just create filler terrain. Here, let's go ahead, take our terrain, we'll copy materials, go to this paste. We don't want any ecosystem, so we'll go to, and actually delete the layer. We'll go to edit this object and just create different type. We'll stretch even more and bring slightly up. Okay, let's go to disable. So we have it like this set. Okay, and a couple of things we can kind of creating, it's just angle slightly. So right here we're creating this backdrop. Okay. And we can move a little bit away. We're still underwater, so it will create this nice edge that kind of will be distant in the fog, so I don't worry too much about details, but it's remove some line. So that is one effect. Okay, we have our cloud right here. Okay, now let's work a bit more on terrain. Okay, we have a nice depth right here for the effects. Let me see if we can just reposition. and just scale slightly. Okay, again, this is kind of tweaking you try to apply and bring a little bit more effects to your to your scenery. Okay, I want to go inside here and change colors. So we have a little bit, we have a kind of radioactive green, almost glowing going on. Okay, let's click OK. We'll also going inside our terrain and as well increase light producing here as well, luminosity. Okay, and maybe just bit for our overall terrain. Okay, this is maybe a little bit too greenish. Just bring the pitch down and bring closer terrain on the back. So let's take our terrain, bring it closer, take our water and make it a bit darker. Okay, and let's go inside the atmosphere, rework a couple things right here as well. Again, it's just small adjustments, so it will kind of give it us this distance effect. I think we're almost very close to be done with settings. So let's populate it. Okay, we have it preset. I'm going to set right now to preview render, and I'll pause tutorials and we'll come back when it's preview finish rendering. So okay, right here we can see we're still very close, but I still not kind of don't like how the paddles layout, so I'm going to change random seed on the terrain. Also a backdrop doesn't look still have an opening space right in this area, so let's go modify first our backdrop. We'll go to edit objects. Okay, we'll go to just preloaded one. Okay, we'll go to edit this function. Okay, let's look correct. Okay, let's click OK, stretch more this way, and just pop up higher. Okay, as well I reduce a little bit on the stretching this way, so we kind of recreate this backdrop a little bit better. Also, now let's rework on our terrain. So we'll go inside, and right here we have it multiplications we can change. So let's maybe set to 24. Okay. Also increase slightly size for our paddles. Okay, we'll go on this one and pop up there as well, and as well increase other one. Okay, so overall it just make a bit better effect this way. Okay, let's go to filter. Okay, and again, this is kind of readjusting, so we have it. Okay, we have this Blender. Okay, and let's modify this filter. So we'll bring more terrain effect to overall. Okay. Okay, kind of reposition, adjusting. So again, it's take a little bit more tweaking, how I say, when you start working, but I actually like this place position better. Now let's enable and see. Just perfect with our camera. We have nice paddles right here on the side. Let's click OK. We also need to go ahead and let's clear ours, and while we preview, you can see we have a nice paddle just up front, so it's what I was actually going for. And this time it's render better. Okay, and we can go ahead, just bring up a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead, populate. The one thing's also what I want to do at this point, I kind of like how the paddle is going now, so we have it real kind of look green them inside. We're going to add additional details or focal points, and we'll do this in our next tutorial.